Happy Wednesday. The answer
Happy
is
Wednesday.
yes, we still do the show. It's been a
It's been a
minute.
minute. It's been a minute. Yeah, that's the beauty of the show. Is it is a I feel like it's nice to be able to be like, oh, like it's going to be a show, and then
Yes.
it's going to happen when it happens.
It
You
I
don't have to worry
cannot
about
tell
like
you.
reshoots and
I'm so glad we don't have sponsors yet for this exact like if we had sponsors, it'd be like, ah, dude, we gotta show up. They're paying us to
ah,
show up.
yeah.
So I'm
We
like,
will take sponsors
maybe
though.
the I just love that we have this is now a running bit that we have a sponsors bar down at the bottom. And like it could be 3 years and it's like never gonna get filled. And we're just gonna be like, man, don't we just love not having sponsors?
Yeah, I hear Bento's sponsoring a couple things. So like this is an
Oh my
unofficial
goodness.
Bento shout out, but
Yeah, no. Yesterday, Jesse was like, I love sponsoring people. And I was like, do you want to sponsor my Laracon talk? But I was like, he's probably already sponsoring like the whole conference or something.
Yeah, that is the tough part. Is the people that I know who are sponsoring things like the overlap is already there between other
Yeah,
things that they
exactly.
sponsor, and so it's like, I understand. If
Yep.
I'm not in a position to sponsor anything yet, fingers
I,
crossed.
I've got like, it's one of those things where it's like, in the words of the Thunk Boys, I've got some trees that we could shake. Like
Ooh, okay,
if we really wanted to, we could go shake some trees. We could get some sponsors. We could explain why we're a good investment on their sponsoring. And like we could try to do the thing. Um, but no, I don't think that is like what I don't think I want
yeah,
to at the moment,
it's it's not
like
there
it's
yet.
summer, it's summertime, the kids are all home, we're having fun,
Yeah,
you know.
the
Why
first
why
thing
put stress
that
on it?
we kind of mentioned it like early next year, middle of next year, sometime. The first thing we said is like the cool part would be if the first sponsor we got was like for a in person at the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
conference.
like an actual thing. Yeah,
That was sick.
that would like I think that would be more of the way to like to kick off getting sponsors because it
Yeah,
could be like a, hey, we have this idea for this thing and we think you would be the right sponsor to bring this to reality. And then after that it's like, okay, we've now broken the seal on doing sponsors. Let's just like have people sponsor the weekly thing that we do. But also,
sponsored.
I don't know. Do people sponsor talks for real? I bet you could. I bet
You
like
could.
I bet you could get a sponsor for a talk in the same way that like companies send their employees,
Mm,
like that's why you have like a lot of like devrel people go to conferences. It's like it's basically a sponsored talk because it's like, hey, we're paying you as part of your job to go talk at conferences and to make
yeah,
like things that are interesting in a way that will like excite people to use our thing without making uh conference what are the people called that plan conference planners mad,
organizers.
maintainers, organizers, there we go, like
Yeah,
without making them mad that you just basically did an ad for your talk,
because I could
so
see it
like
as like I've not tried this and I've not seen it, but I could see it where like, hey, you have this talk that talks about a certain technology or thing, and you already love it. You're already going to use it anyways, but you might as well
be like,
reach
hey,
out to them and be like, hey,
exactly.
I'm using this in the talk. I'll show a slide that's like, hey, get more information, but it's
Hmm.
already
There's one
there.
there's one that I did like a I didn't do this for like a talk, but it would have worked the same way if I had a speaking slot to
Yeah,
do it. Where like when I built that conference game for React Miami, like
yeah,
I got prizes. Like I was like, hey, like I went and talked to Cloudflare, I talked to Laravel, I talked to um who was the other one? There's one other one. It was somebody. There was a third one that I don't remember anymore, but
yeah.
I got like credits and like prizes for people who participated where it could be like, hey, I'm giving a talk on this thing. Like, would you be willing to like give me some like a credit, like a referral link or something, like a credits link to where it's like if people are excited about it and they do go try it out, they can get a discount slash like can I also get
Can I
like
also get some of that
can I get
discount?
some
Yeah,
credits or something for it as well or something? So
that's fair. That's
there's
fair.
there's a lot of paths for business and content if you want to pursue them. That's for
It's all
sure.
business at the end of it. think about it.
Also,
What's up, Big Flo?
what's
I like
up?
the
I was
new
gonna say
app.
new PFP. That's why I threw it up here. New
Yeah.
PFP.
I was like,
Not
I don't
the
think
guy who looked like a bearded sailor. I always looked at that and I was like, somebody looks like he's like an old world sailor, like traveling the unknown seven seas.
yeah, it took me off guard for a little bit. So I appreciate
Mhm.
you being here.
Absolutely. Josh, what have you been up
Well,
to? It's been a
Will,
minute and you flew to a different country on the other side of the world. So tell me about it.
it was crazy. Yeah, I think last time we talked was like the week before Laravel Live Japan was last show.
Yep.
And then the next week I was in Laravel Live Japan. I'm pretty sure you
Mhm,
were
mhm, mhm.
out of town that week too, anyways, or maybe like the
Yeah,
next week or
I was off on our yearly
usually
trip
retreat.
to my
Yeah,
hometown so that we can give like an extended period of time with grandkids to my parents
nice.
slash because they don't get to see them that often. Me and Allie also get a little vacay because they're like grandparents and we're like your problem. So we love that trip.
I feel that. Well, yeah, my trip to Japan was awesome. It was short. It was a lot of craziness. I basically had to get like a last minute passport
Oh
at the
snap.
end of it.
Yeah.
Um,
How'd that go down?
it went.
Like
It was
while you were over there, you had to get another passport or like
no
right before you
before I
left?
left. Right before I left,
Ah,
had to
the
get a
old
last minute passport.
expedited.
Yep. And it was a lot quicker and a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, which is good. But
Good.
then, yeah, in Japan was awesome. I basically flew there, landed Japan time Monday night, stayed
Mhm.
in Japan for Laravel Live Japan Tuesday, Laravel Live Japan Wednesday, and then flew back Japan time Thursday night. Got back in Arizona time Thursday night. So I did a little bit of
Ugh,
time traveling.
man, yeah.
Um, surprisingly,
Feel too awful with all
didn't
that?
feel too awful. Now I feel like I'm getting sick mostly because of my kids, but that
Oh,
not
yeah,
from Japan. So like
not from
it's
the travel.
yeah, but it was a
Alright,
beautiful country.
yeah, tell me your top 3 highlights of the trip.
Top three highlights. One, Laravel, like the actual conference was awesome. I think
Mhm,
the coolest part was this was the first conference that I had been in that was primarily not targeted towards an English audience.
okay.
In the sense of like it was like talks were about 50-50. 50% spoken English, 50% spoken Japanese. And because of like it was just really cool to be like, oh hey, like uh I am learning how to communicate with someone where I am the idiot who can only speak in one language and
Mhm,
other people are trying to speak to in English to me. And so it was a fun time mostly because uh Ryuta, the organizer and who works at Laravel, made this app that was
mhm.
live translation from English to
Ooh,
Japanese for the speakers or from Japanese to English for the
right.
speakers. So as they were talking, like subtitles would be up on the screen and then
Ooh, that's
essentially the
pretty cool.
translation would be good. And to my knowledge, everything like looked really accurate. It was fun because the fun part for I think especially the English speakers was funny because someone would tell a joke or maybe like just say, hey, like how's everyone doing? And then you would have to wait for like a second and a
Okay, yeah,
half,
yeah, yeah,
maybe 2 seconds, and then
for
like
them
people
to
would
read it.
respond. Yep.
Oh,
It
man.
was pretty but it was fun because we used that app also at like after parties and I would be able to walk up to someone and be like, oh, you can't speak
Speak
English?
into
Perfect.
this so they
Yeah.
could read it.
Yeah. So it was fun being able to connect with people in that. That was definitely top highlight is just being able to be there with all the people. Next one is just Tokyo itself. So I got to visit downtown Tokyo. Of course, I wasn't there for long, but all
Mhm.
Thursday I was basically in
A
downtown
tourist.
Tokyo.
Yep.
Yeah, touristy stuff. It's it. I told my wife like I don't know the right word for this, but it's nice that it's still very touristy friendly. So like there's still English stuff all over the place, but it's also
Mhm.
nice that it wasn't just English at the same time too. Like there's that fun
Right.
aspect of
But
like, oh,
it's such a different culture, you felt like you actually got to experience the culture, not just the Americanized experience of whatever the culture is.
exactly. Like there was a restaurant I went into. I looked up, I think I asked ChatGPT. I was like, the closest thing to me, what is like, cheap, but I wouldn't feel I would feel comfortable eating it. And I like just literally went to this spot. It didn't have any English even on the signs.
Mhm.
I don't even think on the menu there was any English, but I just from ordering like with the pictures on like the little iPad thing and like um just saying, you know, thank you in Japanese or hello. Like that was enough to get myself through the ordering process. And
Through
it
the
was
order.
it was so fun. Like that
Dude,
was like
that's
the fun
awesome.
part for me.
Japan is on my, like, bucket list trips. Like, it is maybe number 1 on my bucket list trips, at least personally, if you, like, factor in, like, kids and wife. Allie's like, "You can go to Japan with your next wife." So, like, she will never go to Japan with me, but it's still on my bucket list of trips to take, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
let me know how that goes for you when that
Yeah.
happens then.
I will not
The
be going with my next wife, I'll just be going by myself or with a friend.
the last part that was really cool is not just the like there was a really beautiful architecture in the sense of
Mhm.
like it's like a city, but it's also a like a park at the same time. Like there were so many trees, so many places to walk. Um, like there was like the downtown area was like essentially like a outdoor market that I walked for literally 3 to 4 blocks and just like outdoor food. I could have ate there. I wasn't as risky as that. I wanted a
Mhm.
little bit more inside place, but it was just nice. And then there I wanted to bring stuff back. So most of the outdoor places were cash, but there was one place that even like the locals told me about like at the conference and they said it's you go to the Donkey and it's Don Quixote is the name of like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
store, but everyone calls it Donkey.
Mhm.
And it is essentially like our version of Target or Walmart, I would imagine.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And there was 9 floors, so it's like pretty crowded. So it's
Okay.
smaller than our
Small,
Walmart,
but
Target
stacked.
stacked. And like each floor was like its own section. So like the first like second floor was like snacks. Third floor was
Okay,
like girls stuff. Fourth floor was
okay.
there was even like appliances there. So
Oh,
like
snap. Yeah.
I don't know,
The
I couldn't buy
donkey has it
those.
all.
But I spent probably like 45 minutes or an hour and a half in there just looking for snacks. So many Kit
Yeah.
Kats.
Yeah.
Got a Kit
Just, like,
Kat
different
peach.
flavors.
Yep, Kit Kat peach flavor, Kit Kat matcha, Kit Kat wasabi I tried.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
Um there was like a
That sounds
blueberry
like so
one. It was a lot of fun.
goodness. Alright. So you went to
They even had a
Japan.
theme song, a Don Quixote theme song.
That just played in the store?
Just played in the store and very wide variety of music. It was the Don Quixote theme song, which is like really, really fun thing. And then all of a sudden it went into like this screamo metalcore. I was like, I found my people right here.
That sounds like so much fun. Man, I love traveling. Traveling is so much fun. Getting new experiences is just, like, it's the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the salt of life, but, like, it's just, like, it's the good stuff, you know? Like,
Rejuvenation
yes,
aspect.
yes, you gotta
Your
have it. You gotta
your
have
wife
it.
sounds similar to my wife though, where like my wife doesn't care too much about traveling. So
Allie likes to, like, I would not even say that. I was gonna say she likes to go on trips, but, like, not real like, she likes to find relaxation in, like, routine, not
yeah,
in like, she doesn't get rejuvenated by new things, she gets rejuvenated by reliable things, and
that
so,
makes
like,
sense.
our we've gone to the same hotel in the same little town in Alabama at, like, at least like 10 times, just
There you
because
go.
it's, like, it's it's what we know, it's what she loves. We love it, and it's reliable, like, we don't have to think, we don't have to plan, we just show up, we relax, and we come home, and so, like, that's like her idea of like the right kind of travel. And
I
mine's
love it.
like, where's somewhere we've never been before? What kind of new foods and new things can we try and do? And it's just very funny how different that part of our relationship is.
There you go. Well, speaking of traveling, what was your last couple of weeks looking like? A
Oh
little
goodness.
trip.
So I had a little travel too. So as mentioned, we made the trip up to my parents in North Alabama, where I'm from, spent like a whole week there. We
Nice.
normally only spend like a longer weekend and then come back home, but we planned to go hang out with the Keiths, Braden and his wife.
Friend of the
Um,
community.
friend of the community. If you've been to Laracon, you've probably seen him around. If you've been on Twitter, you've also probably seen him around. But um, we met at on Twitter slash hanging out at Laracon, and his wife. I met his wife at the last Laracon, and she was just like, "Your wife is so funny." Braden shows me like the stuff that she says. I was like, she was like, I want to be your friend. I was like, just here, like follow her. Like she loves like new people just like I do. And like they started chatting and stuff. And then next thing I knew, she was like, "Hey, me and Adeline were chatting, and now we're going to their house to like hang out for a weekend." I'm like, "Okay, I guess we're doing that." So we stayed a little longer at my parents, and then on the way back, just swung through where they live in Rome, Georgia, and got to spend a couple days with the Keith crew, the Kings and the Keiths, in Rome, Georgia. So it was a really
Yeah.
funny trip. We're like, wow, we are very well traveled this summer. We've already been to Athens and Rome this summer. Athens, Alabama, and Rome, Georgia. So that's like, we were like, it was like the most classic, like, dad joke. I was so proud of it when I came up with it. But yeah, just kicked off the summer with way too much travel, and then we've just been at home chilling, getting the summer things like blowing up a giant pool and water slide out in the yard, and getting sprinklers and slip and slides and just all the fun summer stuff here.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
All right. I just
What
saw
you-
this.
Yeah. You got something?
This was not something I had planned, but wow, that's really big. I don't know. Is there a way to make it smaller? Let's see if this makes it smaller. Ooh, yeah, there we go. All right. I saw this literally right before we came on, and it just made me laugh so hard. Let's see if it shows up now. All right. So AI handles
Yeah.
routine tasks, leaving tech workers in endless hard mode. Is what I saw. This was like one of those like summaries of like a trending topic in the sidebar
Yeah.
on Twitter. And I just read this and I was just like, this is hilarious because it's true. Like it is like what I'm building like my whole talk on in July, which is like about creativity. It's like the compare and contrast. So this segues into like my first topic that I have for you, which is I want you to help me name my talk.
Okay, let's do it.
So the gist of my talk is that AI, LLMs, agents, whatever name you want to call them, but like this new technology is like extremely good in processes where you know the outcome before the work, like where the work is done because you already know what the outcome is. But it is very bad for things where like the outcome is unknown, and so you have to do the work to figure out what the right outcome is. And so like that's like I refer to them as like creativity and manufacturing. Like one creative process is like the work that you do to uncover and discover what the right outcome should be, and manufacturing work is when you take that outcome and like make it real. And like
Okay.
AI is very good at taking already figured out outcomes and making them real.
Yeah.
And like it is not very good at creative work. And like that's exactly what this is.
Yep.
Like when you already know what the outcome is going to be, it's just a matter of like doing the work to make it real, these routine tasks. And then it leaves tech workers in endless hard mode, is what they're calling it. I like to call it creativity.
Like fun mode.
Yes. Like I don't even necessarily call it fun. Like I agree. Like that is true. Like it is hard. Creativity is very hard. It is very tiring. It's like exhausting work. It requires like a lot of effort because like the whole job of creative work is to shape what the right outcome is. And that requires a lot of work. And that's like why you always hear about like design, like when you do design or you do art or something, it's like it takes time. Like you gotta like give them time. You gotta like take more time because there's just a lot and it's hard work. So you need the space to work through it. It's the same with like music. Like when you write music, like you don't just sit down and like bang out a song in like an hour and then call it done and never touch it again.
Yep.
Like, no, like, sure. Like you can spend an hour working on something and maybe you get like 90% of the way there. Or maybe you finish something and you're like, okay, I like this, but like you let it sit, it breathes, you come back to it and you're like, like, and I want to change it. This is not quite right. And it's like this iterative, like creative process to uncover what the right outcome is. And so I just saw that and was like, this is literally like my talk is like AI is going to handle manufacturing and it's going to leave all of us with the creative work. And creative work, as like I'm trying to call out in my talk, is like creativity is not owned by design. Like every job role has creative work as part of it because creative work is not designed like defined by is as design. Creative work is just the work of uncovering the right outcomes.
No.
And like every job has to have that as part of their process. And now more and more of your job is going to look like that. So I want to figure out a talk title because my original talk title, Patterns for Creativity, is too literal and it's boring and nobody is going to want to like, everyone's going to be like, why do I care about patterns for creativity? Like nerd, like I'm a developer. I write PHP. Like, why do I care about creativity? So instead, I want to get a little clickbaity with it. Like, I want to get like a little bit more literal in like what I'm trying to get at, which is like creativity is going to be your job now. So
like you're going to have to do the hard stuff now.
Yeah, exactly. Like friends in the chat and Josh and all of us, we're going to take a minute. We're going to let that ruminate. Everybody can think about it. Throw some stuff in the chat. If you think about it, we're going to let that ruminate and we're going to try to figure something out. Josh, do you want to just start throwing stuff out now or should we like go through our next topic while you kind of chew on that and let the chat think and we can come back to that later on in the show?
I won't start throwing the stuff out right now. What I'll do is I'll ruminate by explaining how I see that.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, you're gonna reframe. You're gonna reframe.
Stay on the topic. Stay on the topic. Yeah. And then after I say it, maybe like it'll give you some ideas too.
Okay.
But the first thing I think of is I absolutely agree. Shocker there. Like we never disagree on stuff like this, so it doesn't matter. But
man, our show would be a lot better if we just.
It would be so much better. This is why we don't have sponsors.
Sponsors are like, man, these guys like each other too much.
We need clickbait stuff. No, I think that there is so much stuff like outside of coding because like I think we've slowly gotten to this process of understanding what models are good at within development of like, oh, it's good for a first pass on design, then you have to like tweak it. It's good for like getting your idea out and like it works, and then you have to go through like by hand to make sure everything works the way you expect it to. So like it's like always like it is accomplishing what you put into it. And so I think that's kind of been solidified for developers for the most part, at least within like the top tier models. But I think like what you're talking about and like what that headline is talking about is like this aspect of most people outside of development forget that it's not there to do the creative work. And so here's what I've been using it for outside of development.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've tried it for everything. In the sense, like I've tried it for, little graphics, like making a thumbnail. I've tried it for, like more creative work of like full articles or everything like that.
Right.
And the thing that I've used it for relentlessly is essentially automation of things. And I think like me talking through this process, like explains and like solidifies your aspect. For example, I have a skill that I have kind of like refined for church stuff where every Sunday afternoon I like make a video. So by hand, I make a video and edit down like what our video looks like. And I do this by hand. I don't use AI for this because I want a specific like intro and then I want like the full video and then I want outro. I edit that video, I publish it. I then have a skill that transcribes that video
Okay.
using AI, using Whisper. It transcribes that video, creates a podcast version of it, uploads
Ooh,
it to Transistor.
okay.
It takes that transcribed audio, and then based on like the clips that I've already pointed out, in the sense of like each video is already has like little segments where it's like, oh, hey, this could be a good clip. And it's like marked in the video, but I don't haven't
Mhm,
done with it anything yet. And so then AI takes those clips and it scans the transcript for any other clips,
mhm.
takes about a minute on each side of, hey, this is a good clip, uploads them to Descript for me so that I can have someone go through them manually to edit them.
Mhm, mhm.
So it's kind of giving like the, hey, this could be a good clip. Check. And so it gives the top 10 clips. It uses face tracking to like make it into a vertical format. So then manually all you have to do is just edit it down. And then the last
Mhm.
piece that it does is it picks out about like 10 good quotes with that could be part of like a graphic design piece.
Ooh, okay, okay.
And
This
so
does
all of this is
this is so
being
good.
done
Yeah.
by AI. I could do all that by hand, and I did used to do it all by hand like 5 years ago or
Mhm,
whatever. And
mhm.
it took me 3 days of half part-time work kind of thing. And so now I can have it done within like an hour and a half. And then within another 30 minutes of like curation and putting into like design templates and or just like coming up with like my own style, all of a sudden I have triple the content I used to have by
Mhm.
letting AI do all the manual parts that
Right,
I
by
don't trust.
giving you back your time. It's giving you
Yep.
back your time for the parts that are harder,
That
which is
actually matter.
the creative parts,
Yep.
and it is automating away all the stuff. Yeah,
Yep. And
100%. This is
and I
exactly
have I have tried AI so much on like the first part because it all hinges on this first element of having a complete
it.
piece that's like, hey, here's the
Mhm,
full video. Here's the really
mhm.
good intro that I already found by hand. Here's the here's the full edited video, and then here's the
Yep,
really good outro.
yep.
And I've tried AI to find like the full intro video. It kind of sucks. It doesn't really work. But like because I spent the little bit of time, 20 minutes of finding like each of those elements and making it, all of a sudden
Mhm.
the rest of my time AI does a great job with because I've already given it that piece.
Yeah, you've given it the outcomes that it needs, and yeah, like, what I've, like, also realized is that, like, and this can segue. We're gonna get further away from actually figuring out talk title names, but you just can't pass up a segue when you got it.
Can't pass up a segue. Gotta riff on it.
And that is that, like, okay, yes, our jobs are moving more and more towards, like, the creative parts of our job, and, like, part of that creativity is building factories. Like,
Mm,
that is gonna be the new creative work. And, like, what I'm referring to as factories in this case, like, for engineering, a lot of the new creative work that you're gonna be doing is not, like, writing a bunch of code. It's going to be building factories that produce code based on inputs to your
yeah.
factory, AKA loops. Um,
Ooh,
Segue of
okay.
the week. So I think that people call it loops, and, like, they tried to, like, I think it's just, like, it has been, like, the big topic this week. You should be using loops when you program. You should be, like, running infinite loops, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's, like, to me, that's the wrong framing of this. Like,
Okay.
yes, it is a loop underneath, um, but, like, what people are actually talking about are, like, factories that are driven by, like, asynchronous events. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Like, you create this factory that when it receives some sort of asynchronous, like, input, it triggers the running of your factory for some output that you have built this factory specifically to output based on the input that it is getting. Like, hey, you are going to get some shape of input that's going to look like this from these very specific sources.
Yeah.
I have done the creative work of coming up with what this factory should look like to always produce this very specific type of output. That's it. That's what loops are, and they tried to make it seem like some new
Yep.
thing, but like it's not like we're just industrializing software.
Yep.
You know, like we're
Industrializing
just
software. Yeah.
like we're just playing Factorio, you know? But yes, well, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, exactly. And industrial design also is like, I got so many thoughts on that, but
I
that's
like
the
what you say, Ryan.
segue. What are your thoughts?
I don't know if Ryan's comment is a talk title or not, but I agree.
Get
No more ticket
no
takers.
more
Everyone's
ticket
now a ticket
takers,
maker.
everyone's a ticket maker. I do love that. That's a
That's a good.
really it's a really
That's
good.
snappy. I love it. But yeah, I agree because it's one of those things where
I'm tweeting
the
that
thing.
actually. Sorry, Ryan, I'm stealing
Yeah,
this from you.
steal it,
Not
steal it,
actually stealing
snag
it
it.
from you because I will call you as reference, but
There you go.
this is just
Um,
such a bar.
that is a good bar. Like that could be. I don't know if that's in the running for talk name, but it could be something similar to that. But yeah, my thought about that is that we've gotten into this phase, and I think like again, most developers who use AI for development heavily have gotten to this point of like, okay, I'm never just going to give it a prompt of like, hey, make me a to-do app and just hope it blindly works. So everyone's gotten to this point of like, okay, it's going to make me a to-do app that looks like this. And when this happens, it does this. And then when this, and even if it's all one prompt or like multiple prompts, most of us could say, okay, if I wanted to build something like a Trello, I could do that with AI because I know the pieces that it takes to get there. And you're not just saying, build me a Trello clone. And so with that, it's funny that we don't necessarily translate that to like the creative work, which I think is where our jobs are going to be moving to, where it's like, hey, instead, all that stuff where it's like, okay, whenever something happens within the week, then I need to make this blog post, or I need to make like this particular page on the site, and I need to update it and do it. Well, our job is going to be less of doing from scratch everything that we used to do before, and instead saying, hey, this is what I used to do from scratch every time before. I used to have this layout, and then I used to have make sure that we needed an OG image for like this particular thing. And then I needed to
Mhm,
make sure like everything
mhm.
went through. Instead, it's
Yep.
going to be all templates. I think we are going to be the template creators for AI to work, and those would be the boundaries and the confines of how AI works. So it's going to be less of even kicking things off. And like loops are essentially, you're just going to have to automate things based off of the templates and guidelines that you've already restricted.
Exactly, exactly. It's just it's factories, it's different manufacturing processes.
Yep.
Like I just keep going back to my education in industrial design, which was like part of your role as an industrial designer is like understanding what materials should be used for the product and like
Okay.
what manufacturing process is the right manufacturing process to choose to achieve the outcome that you're wanting.
Yep.
And so like that looks different if you're saying like, okay, we need a loop, we need a factory for like our blog post pipeline.
Yeah.
Like you could absolutely build a factory for that. And like the machines, the different pieces of that like factory are going to look different than if you're building a factory for like processing your Sentry bug inbound and deciding like if you have like issues in your code base and like how
Yep.
those issues get resolved. Like they're completely different it's the same work. You're making a factory, you're making some sort of like asynchronous like automated process, but the pieces on the factory floor that are being used to like be put together for the specific output that you're going for are different.
Yep.
And like it requires like different like creative inputs. The one with like for the blog post one, like before any of the work can be done, like you have to kick things off with the creative assets. Like there is creative work that has to be done as input to get the output there.
Yep.
For like bugs on like some sort of like bug processing factory, like the creative work might come at the end. Like, hey, I want you to read this bug, review the code base, and throw up a PR that explains the bug and tells me like why this is a fix. And then the creative work is at the end where like you're reviewing the PR and like deciding, is this the right solution?
Yeah.
Or is this like a symptom of something bigger and I need to like dig past this and like look somewhere else, like
Yep.
that's they're the same. It's the same type of work, the same type of creative work of creating factories, but like the actual like manufacturing process underneath is like different.
And even the people who are using AI the right way
Right.
for writing,
Yes.
for things like that, I would say at least the ones who are doing it effectively are probably doing it in the case of like, hey, here's like the last 5 blog posts that I've written in my and shaped and edited in my tone of voice. Here's a
Mhm.
new topic. Here's the research I'm already like compiled for it. Give me a first draft, and then they'll likely take 10 plus, uh,
Yep.
hours editing that draft to
Yeah.
make it better.
Yeah.
And like the creative work just is different where like you probably are like editing along the way. You might have like it might still save you time, and mostly it probably does, but you're also getting to like the hard slash fun slash interesting part a lot
Creative
faster.
parts faster. Yeah.
Yep.
There in my talk, I like a big visual that I'm going to be like showing is what I call the product loop, which is like all like building any product, no matter what product you're building.
Yeah.
Not a business, like a business is different, but building a product is always research, creativity, manufacturing, feedback, research,
Yeah.
creativity, and in a running loop. And like a lot of people classify that as like, okay, product managers, designer, engineer, like support, and then run it through the loop again. And
Yeah.
like that is true, but guess what? Like this loop applies at every layer. Like dig in like a layer into like design and you've got a bunch of like little loops that require research, creativity, manufacturing, and feedback. Like even like little like go another layer deeper to like a very specific thing, which is like, okay, well, like how do I come up with like a color scheme
Mm.
for like the brand or something? Like, well, like you got to do some research, or you have had to have done research at some point in your life to understand like the color theory and also like understand like what is the business, like what is the emotion you're trying to evoke. Then you've got to come do the creativity of like, well, let's mix a bunch of these colors together. And you've got to like manufacture, you've got to like actually put these colors into something that can then get like be shown to somebody for feedback, and then you run
Yep.
that loop again. Same with engineering, like with these like like it's factories all the way down. Like it's this loop all the way down. Like
Factories all over.
even in creative work, like you're going to create like baby factories. Like yes, you may have your one like core production factory, and I think what a lot of people are getting tripped up on is that it's like, oh, like all coding, like all of my work should flow through this one single loop, this one single factory.
Yeah.
And like the answer is like no, because like and it's like another piece of my talk is going to talk about like working at the right fidelity,
Okay.
to where it's like the power is not that you created this one process, this one factory, this one loop to rule them all. It's that you can create these little factories for everything when you need them. So like let's say that like you mentioned with your like what you mentioned with your thing, like you've got this one part of your job. Is that your whole job to make these like videos from like the sermons or from the worship like service? No, that's just like one part of your job. And like you've created this like little factory for like doing like every little piece of that you've automated out to AI is like a little baby factory that you've
Yep.
then worked up to like then there's this like larger factory. And like that's the same way with code. Like the loops, the factories, the processes that you use to ideate, to create, to explore are like you still need those,
Yep.
but it's not going to be the same as like the factories that you use to like manufacture the final product. And like you just have to look to real physical manufacturing to like see that in like how people design and build like actual products, where it's like you start with sketches, you make like hand prototypes out of foam or cardboard. Like you're still doing manufacturing.
Yeah.
It's just not it's just not the giant production like final grade version of the thing, but you're still doing research, creativity, manufacturing, like feedback. Like that loop applies everywhere.
And engineering has already been doing this for like the longest time. Like that's what jobs are. It's
Yeah,
just
this
changing
is
it.
it's such a good point where it's just like, hey guys, this isn't new.
This isn't new. The
This
only
is
thing that's
literally what we've been doing.
the only thing that's changed is instead of it used to be have to be like, oh, if I want to do
I'm the
literally
machine.
everything, yeah, like either I'm the
Yeah,
machine or I am just going to have to like have it be so templatized and literal. Like let's
yeah.
say super simple of like, oh hey, for this new
That's a good
thing,
point. Yeah.
new blog that we're putting out. I want to
Mhm.
create a new page. And so like a new blog comes in, new page. I take the title and I put it here. Like it has to be so literal and templatized and regex. But now like essentially the only thing that's changed is we have a little bit more freedom and flexibility within like the job and tiny
Ah,
factories
yes. Yes,
to
yes, yes.
have those templatized and like guidelines a little bit wider because it's like okay, hey, here's a
Such a good
past blog,
point.
we're going to put it this way, but it doesn't have to be word for word and we're just changing it around. Like all of a sudden like things can be different. And like that's where you have like these like all the I think that's where tools within AI and like MCP, like all of those actually do come in handy because you can't just have it be literal of hey, this is the exact same thing we did last week, but now it's going to change this wording. No, like maybe it needs
Mhm.
to be two sentences instead of one. Before
Right.
doing something like that would be so hard if you
Right.
were doing it all
That's very true.
programmatically.
That is so true. That is so true. It makes me think of too of like I do a lot of woodworking, and it makes me think of like the difference between like some type of like automated factory and like um doing like woodworking is like when you do some woodworking, like there is still parts that you want to automate. And like
Okay.
the way you had to do it is like you had to make your own jigs. You know, like a jig
Uh,
in woodworking is like, hey, I'm about to do a bunch of the same things. So I'm gonna make my own little tool to make that easier.
yeah.
Whereas like in a factory, you've got like this one machine that does like all 7 things all at once
Yeah.
magically. Like, you know, like I don't know. That's just like makes
And
me
now
think
you
about it.
can
And
like
like,
make the
but like
jig on the fly. Have the
right,
jig make
exactly, like
itself. Yeah.
AI exactly, like AI is so interesting because it's like you're still building the same stuff. It's just the flexibility for these automations are so much like more broad and flexible. That's so true. All right.
Okay. Here's my
What's the topic that you've got? I think we've hammered loops to the end.
I've got at least one talk title or at least one
Okay.
just maybe spur some information. If anyone in the chat also has like any good topic or talk titles for Will, and this is specifically for Laricon, right?
Yeah, this one's for US in July
Laricon
in
US hashtag kind of not sponsored, but kind of sponsored, I guess, because they pay me.
Yeah, exactly.
Tickets go off of pre-sale or like you. It's the last chance to get your tickets before
Mhm.
they get the. I think it's like the end of this week. Could be wrong on
Gotcha.
that. Anyways, clocking into the AI factory.
Ooh, clocking into the AI factory. That's interesting. I'm gonna push back on it because I'm
Okay.
actually not talking about factories in this case.
You should though. It just changed the whole
I
talk.
I do think that there should be like a whole talk about like how to approach and think about building factories.
Okay.
Like that is a talk in and of itself.
Yeah.
But no, mine is just more mine's like earlier than that. Like
Yeah.
mine is like, hey, y'all are all familiar with like the manufacturing part of it. Now you've just got to take one step back on how to build things that manufacture stuff. So like there
Mhm.
is that piece of the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so like that's the way I think about factories. But like before you get to that, they're like, what are the outcomes that are going into the like,
Okay, I see.
how do
Yeah.
you know what factory you even need to be making? It basically
Yeah.
is like the what my talk is more about, which is like it's even further back where things are a little more nebulous, where it's like, okay, now that you've got the outcome, the next phase would be that talk. Would be like,
Yeah.
hey, you were creative, you figured out what the right outcome is. How do you build like the factory to like consistently output good output based on the outcomes that
I
you
see.
want?
So that
That
would
would
be a good one for
that would be a
part
really
2.
good talk for whoever wants that one. But
What's
yeah,
up,
no.
Jason?
All right, I'm gonna throw one out there, and you tell
Okay,
me if you
I
like
have
it
another
or
one
you can
after
riff
that.
on
You
it.
throw one out.
Okay,
Let's do it.
here's one that I've got. Everyone's new job is creativity. What now? Is I
Okay.
don't like it, but it's
Yeah.
like that's
I
like
see where you're
the
going with it.
direction. Yeah.
Um, I do think it's still like your part was the reason why you are not liking the creative word is because back-end engineers are automatically thinking, like, I don't need to hear this. Tune out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so lean into the, like, figuring out the unknown
Yeah,
or,
lead
like,
into figuring out the unknown. Your job
finding
has
un
changed. So it flows a little with
or, like, your
maybe a little
job
bit
is
too rough.
now this.
Yep. I said your job just got harder.
Mm, that's a good one, that's a good one, that's a good one. Alright, I like that idea of, like, your job's now harder.
Yeah, because like I think and Jason, just so you know, we're trying to come up with names for Will's Laricon talk. Premise of it is, and Will can correct me if I'm wrong, but it helps to
Ooh,
hear
I
from
like
someone
this.
else.
You try to
Premise
tell
of
me
it
what the premise
is that because of AI, everyone thinks you get to you're either getting replaced. Oh, you already gave him one. There you go. um, you're getting replaced.
Oh, you did? Where'd you give me one? Oh, yeah. Oh, he did. I just saw it. He said, "No, your talk title is just Return of the King."
Return. That was a good one. We'll take it. Your job is you're fearful for your job because your job is getting replaced, or you immediately think that I can just offload my job to AI for everything. When the
Right.
reality is the creative work is where your job is going to move into, regardless of what your actual title or position is, whether you're working in marketing, engineering, or anything else. So the topic or talk title should be something along the lines of your job is changing, it's being creative. What do you do about it?
Yes. That is where we want to go with it.
Great
AI
expectations.
can do it all, so what do I do? Ooh. Expect with a capital AI. That's like a dad joke in the
Uh,
talk title. That's solid.
the second
I do
half of
love
that's actually not bad though. The AI can do it all. So what do I do?
I skipped the first part. I was like, I didn't even think that was part of the talk title. My bad. But then I figured it out after. But I do like this concept of like
Tagline.
AI can do it all. So what do I do?
Because it is like a negative premise of like, okay, when in reality, AI can't do it all.
AI stole your job.
Yeah, still
What now? I do like AI can do it all. What about AI can do your job?
now what?
Now what? Okay, I like that. I think I like
Big into
that.
hooks these days. Oh, like
Big into
I
Hooksy. Yeah, you've been
I
making
do
a lot of content lately,
I do
Jason.
like just because you are not that type of personality. I do like having some kind of
Not
negative framing
yes,
because you're
yes.
not going to be negative in the talk at all.
Not even a little bit.
So like
Not even a little bit.
it's okay to be. It's not clickbaity because it's a talk, but
It's a
I
talk.
think it's
It
okay to
I
be
just
negative.
okay, I like this. I like this. And, like, we can't add, like, I don't wanna add, like, a subtitle.
Yeah, subtitles are.
Subtitles are
Sorry,
dumb
Jason.
for talks. Yeah.
Subtitles are.
I'm big into
They're
hooks
too long
these
because
days.
you need to fit it on it's you're scrolling on a phone. You see
Yeah.
like
I want them
that's
to
where
read the
most people
title
look
and
at
just
that.
be like,
Yeah,
"I'm there," and then they can figure out what my talk actually
I've
is by
never
me
liked the
talking about the
colon.
talk.
colon blank thing. Nah.
Yeah, yep, yep. All right, AI can do your job. Now what? All right, that's it. I think that's the title. That feels good because it kind of captures what I'm trying to tell them, which is just like traditionally what we've thought of our job as being is the like actual doing of the work. The work being like the output.
Yeah. Because in reality, it's like AI
But the
can do what
reality,
you
like
thought your job was.
right, exactly. And the reality is that like the most important part of your job has always been figuring out what the right outcomes are. And
Yep.
then like by nature, because we had no other way to do it, you also had to be the one to do the outcome part it yourself. So
Yep.
okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool.
Exactly. I like it.
Love it. Cool. All right. Got anything else today?
One thing is I have a little bit of a, it's not as good of a demo put together, but I wanted to show off the little MIDI guitar setup I got.
Oh yeah. All right. Is it already set up or is it gonna take a second to do it?
It's gonna take a second, so you can
Cool. All right. I'm gonna
do
show
a chat.
something while you're getting set up. I'm gonna show everybody in chat something that I discovered as part of my talk. So this is a very cool um, website that I discovered um, as part of my talk process of like planning my talk. So at one point of my talk, I like tried to discuss like what do you do with a blank canvas? Like how do you get started creatively? There we go. Got it. How do you get started creatively um, when you've like got a blank canvas? And part of that is just like providing some tools to like get past that empty state. And I stumbled across this website while like looking around for stuff related to that and related to AI. So this is actually made by a friend of mine. Her name's Emily Campbell, and it's all these like really interesting like AI patterns in UI that like talk through like, hey, here are all the UI patterns that we are seeing across all AI products. And it's like it's just really, really interesting. And a lot of them, like this first one, is really interesting because it's like help users construct their first prompt and get started. And there's like a lot of these like really good like high level patterns for like things that you can do to help your users get past the like blank canvas problem. Then there's like a bunch of like other really really cool just like AI design patterns if you're like getting into like designing AI products or experiences that include AI. This is just like a really really cool resource. It's called shapeof.ai. So go check it out. It's sick. Now back to the entertainment, aka the MIDI. That guitar is just so cool.
Okay, let's see.
Is this
See if this works the way I
going to
want.
like just appear in people's audio, or
It
is it like
should.
okay? Let's find out. I'll tell you if I hear
We'll
it.
see. I have not turned it on yet,
Okay,
but I am
I can
setting
hear
it up
you
real quick.
strumming, but I don't hear it through the audio yet. So let me know.
Yep. I've not turned it on yet. But first I want to show like the actual setup because I think like that's the
Ooh,
interesting
yes.
part. But like I think I've kind of talked a little bit about this on the show in the sense that the whole premise for building this was I've always liked the idea of having flexibility in how I play, but it's always been frustrating because um, I need like I can't if I have something. So let me like zoom out real quick so you can see more of like the table. Let's see if we bam. Let's do that. Okay. So here in front of you, you can kind of barely see it. This is one pedal board that
Mm-hmm.
has essentially an audio interface over here
Okay.
that has, let's see if maybe this camera a little better. No.
Oh.
Over here, it has an audio interface that has 8 outs and everything is strapped to this pedal board. So I could pick this up. Like if I was to like show you real quick.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's got like a little
This is
microphone on it too.
all
That's legit.
it
Mhm.
has.
Did
An
you build this?
iPad. I got the pedal board and then I decided what I wanted on it.
Oh,
So
cool.
everything is running through one iPad right over here,
Mhm.
which has the ability to have sounds for the MIDI instruments that I'm running. It has the ability to run sounds for guitar. It has a little like whammy bar that I can use for like it's all technically MIDI. So there's a 10 switch foot switch that can turn things on and like control the iPad like a tuner or change like specific mutes on my little iPad app that allows you to like say, okay, like I want to run different sounds, for example. So let me see if we can hear it. If I unmute this, is it working now? Let's see.
Yeah, I
No,
hear the
no.
strumming, but I don't hear it through the, like, actual audio.
Let's make sure. Bam. Let's see. Outputs. Two. We should be there. Is it not?
Oh, I just heard a little bit of it. Nope.
See, that wasn't. Okay. Let's see. Is it going out? Okay. I'm going to move it over to here. See, I won't be able to hear it, but let me mute this and then you'll be able to hear it. Okay. So moving this over here.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. So essentially, not only can I have like specific like guitar sounds, this guitar essentially has an output that is just a piezo pickup. So it
Mhm.
can also be an acoustic. For example, if I
Oh,
switch
okay.
this, I have one button on my pedal that I can switch this.
Really need to learn how to play an instrument.
But I can technically have like the electric and the acoustic sounds at the same time. But then, of course, it's all MIDI. So every button on this guitar, whether there's these ones up here, this cool
Mhm.
little one right
Mhm.
here, or any of these down here, they all run into the iPad wirelessly via this little puppy.
Yeah.
And then I can make
Wirelessly?
sounds.
Dang.
And then I can make sounds based off of like any specific MIDI instruments. So,
Mhm.
oops, I touched the button. Right. Accidentally removed my input real quick. Do do do. Make sure. And so the funny thing is, like, even the guitar sounds, and the guitar sounds and the acoustic guitar sounds, everything is running through the iPad. So it's all battery powered. And it can do the same thing with this. Or each one of like those little buttons on here can control. I can control the volume of it, for example. If I'm
Mhm.
playing one. So yeah, all in all, it's
Dang.
fun because
You're like a regular, modern day Bert from Mary Poppins.
the cool part is, and I still am like setting up like the template in to make this happen a little better. But the cool part is I can essentially run vocals through it too. So without having to like be plugged in anywhere or even
Mhm.
have any cables, I can essentially run guitars, piano sounds,
Dang, this is the coolest thing. I really need to learn how to play an
vocals
instrument.
all through one little piece, which is fun. But yeah, that is my little thing. So hopefully I'll be
Well,
able
it's
to.
dope.
It is a whole bunch of fun because it is it just kind of
Infinitely
works,
configurable.
infinitely configurable, and also like the fun part is like there's like most people would think of it as like this is a good instrument for um like songwriting because you have like this element of being able to have random sounds,
Mhm. I love that.
but also being able to like have all of
Throw in
that come
effects.
through like
Yeah.
one instrument, so that way
Mhm.
I'm not tied down to being able to be like, oh, let me like start playing on my
Yeah, right.
piano.
Like, let me move over to like the MIDI controller. Now let me move over to like the guitar. Okay, now let me get to like the
And
drum
even if I want
machine.
to, the cool part is like with one button, bam, I can go into a different octave,
What?
but without having to like move any of my hands too. I can
Yeah,
set that up on the foot switch to do as well.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's so fun. The one part I've learned out of this, I've learned a lot out of this, but the one part I've learned about this is that like there's so many options within iPad music that it is a
Mhm.
whole different ecosystem. Like I
Mhm.
have not even begun to think about building my own synth, but I've looked into it like with Chat GPT and stuff.
Mhm.
But there's so much available out there already that's just
Mhm.
like 10 times cheaper than anything on like a desktop because it's like, oh, like you're not going to
Yeah.
spend $100 on an app, but you would spend
Right.
$10. And so
Right.
like most like decent apps are like
Mhm.
$5, $8. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can buy that. All of a sudden I have like
Yeah,
10
NBD.
synth apps.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy how custom everything is too.
Dude, that's so cool. Eh, I love it. I love it. That's so fun. Now I would just like wanna learn an instrument.
It is a bunch of fun.
Cool. Well, we need to end on that because that was awesome. We just had a live performance on the show. Finally,
Next
months later, we finally got him to play some music for us.
See, next
Ladies and
time
gentlemen,
I'll
Josh
set
Berry,
up.
everybody.
There's this. Let me see if I can like undo the iPad. And I can kind of show you, but there is this one iPad app, and you can do it on your non iPad. But it's this app called Loopy Pro,
Mhm.
which essentially I have not like it is so customizable because everything is it's a MIDI template essentially, and
Mhm.
so I'm gonna set it up and hopefully like in whatever free time I have in the next couple of weeks. The goal is to get it to kind of have like this one template that I can use for essentially song creation, which allows me
Mhm.
to have like make a song on the fly. So it's like what you would think for of like any kind of if you look up
Right.
any looper person,
Yep.
musician on YouTube, they probably are using something like
Something
Loopy Pro
similar where it's like
because
record
you
it,
can
play it over and over under this
yep
pattern.
you can have and then you could set up where it's like okay I'm going to have my piano sound set up and that's just piano sound for this next one's just microphone. I'm going to
Mhm.
overdub it on my microphone. All of a sudden you have
Mhm.
this ability. It even does the ability to like you start it off and then it will calculate what your BPM was and put a little metronome in your ear so you can
Mhm.
continue to play
Mhm.
over it. It is it's it's one of those where it's like I'm used to apps that are very confusing and customizable, but this is like next level stuff
Not
where
yeah.
it's too
Dude,
crazy.
that's awesome. Awesome. Well, this was Riff and Refine. We are back for now. Hopefully we'll be back next Wednesday too.
There you
But
go.
yeah, we're going to be hanging out soon in Boston. That time is going to hit us faster than we realize, which is
Well,
crazy because that will be like technically like the very end of summer. But I
Riff and
already know it's going to
Refine
just be like,
live.
yeah, riff and refine live hang. We will not. I don't know if we'll record anything, but we will definitely be hanging out. So y'all have
Sushi.
a wonderful rest of your. Oh, sushi sounds so great. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, everyone.
Peace.